Sorry guys. We can start now. Yeah, we're talking about routing protocols. We did already static routes. Now we are going to move to default routes. But remember, on Monday, we are going to finalize a few things about static routes again. But yeah, what for today, we are going to do default routes, right? So the most important things that you have to understand is this. When we are talking about default routes, means this. Like the easiest way for you to understand is like this. Let me first check my recording if it's fine. Yeah, you know when you have your router, right? Your router will have what? Like a database, right? That database, we always call it routing table. There's a routing table, right? That routing table, this is the database that every router will have, right? So, and when you go on that particular database, what you're gonna see? You're gonna see what? Information about other networks and how to reach those networks, right? So a router will have a database, and that database will have what? All the information related to other networks, right? For you to see your database, you're gonna use the command show IP routes, right? But technically we call it what? Routing table. So routing table just a database that will have information about all other networks. Now, suppose like you don't know how to reach a particular destination. When you don't know how to reach another network, you can use a default route. So when a router doesn't know how to reach a destination, so a router can use which, what we call like a default route, right? So we are going to use the default route when your router doesn't know how to reach a particular network. Now we're gonna go for default routes. So network not available on the routing page. This is the whole like idea. So when the router doesn't know how to reach a particular network, your router will use what? A default route, right? So every time when a router doesn't know how to reach like a single network, your router will use what we call a default route. Now, how to configure it? The same things as the static route, but this time around, you're gonna say what? IP routes 0, right? And you're gonna put the next hop. Next hop, we call it again what? The incoming port. Let me make it a bit. No, how can I? This is the command. So IP route, this one means any network. This is the meaning of this. So this one means any network, and these other ones, there is no dot here. Any subnets. This is, what does it mean? So you just go to any router, maybe to your first router, you're gonna say IP route, any destination, what followed by any subnet, followed by what? Next hop. Next hop is the router that is connected directly to the one that you are configuring. Right? Next hop IP. Let's call it like that. Next hop IP. Like you have two routers. Right. Let me try to draw something there. You have like router 1 here. You have router 2 here. Suppose like this one, it's fast Ethernet 0/2, right? So, and the IP, it may be 192.168.0.2. So the next hop is this one. This is your next hop, right? So this IP, because you are configuring here, your IP routes here. You are configuring your IP routes here. So IP route 0.0.0, any network, any subnet, next hop, it's this one, the IP address of this one. This is the one that you're gonna replace here. Right? Now, let's do like an exercise. We are going to see. And remember, guys, when you go to your database, to this router 1 database, how will you know? There is a code. For default routes, the code is, let me show you how the code will be. The code is, it's S, and there is what? Star or asterisk? Static routes, the code is S. Default routes, S asterisk, right? So when you go to the database of the router, when you see S and what? This asterisk or what? Ish, this word is hard for me. It's what? Hey, it's asterisk. Thank you. Okay, let's practice a bit. Let's have maybe 2 routers, right? But if you never did the web server yesterday, you can finish it now. Let's say, so I have 1 PC or 2 PCs there. There maybe this is my server. Maybe I have 1 switch here and another switch, right? So what we're gonna do now, we wanna see just how the default route works. And That's gonna be like our web server that we want to access. And our website, it's .saba.com. Remember, when you are plugging, guys, router to router, don't use same interface name, because when you are doing the show IP routes, sometimes you're gonna be confused. Let's try to split the colors, just make it a bit different. There it can be 192.168.1.0/24. There it's gonna be 192.168.1.1. This one 192.168.2.0. Yeah, let me keep it straight. Then it's gonna be 192.168.3.1. From the server, it's gonna be 192.168.3.2. This PC 192.168.1.2. This one 192.168.1.3. Here I can keep 192.168.2.1 and there 192.168.2.2. Right? So I'm just giving to you 1 minute so that you are going to be where I am. Always write your IPs like on top. Most of the time you are mistaken because you don't put some notes, right? You must always see, because when you start from the configurations, you cannot get lost. It's gonna be fast. So we wanna configure what? The default routes. You can write it on top there. We want a default and we want users to access the website. So we wanna give users like access to the website. Remember the benefits of hosting or keeping your own website. Even if there is no internet, users, they can still access the website. Why? Because you are hosting yourself, your website, right? Most of the time it's good when your website is running locally. The request will be fast. So even if there is no internet, you can still access your website. The update will be also fast. That way, most of the companies, they want to keep themselves their own website, like to host their own website, instead of giving it to a third party to host it for you. Okay, we are going to assign server and the computers the IP. Remember that there's a default gateway that you have to mention also. Right? Don't forget about the default gateway. You see the meaning of the server, right? The server can be just maybe this computer. This is how does it mean. Just a computer where you want to keep your website. Because the programmers or web developers, they are going to develop the website. Now they are going to keep, like to save that website where? On one of the computer here. Now you have to allow users to access that computer. Okay, when you are done with your server, we can go to computers. We do the same. .1.2. Remember the default gateway. Are you done with the IPs? All right. Okay, 1 minute. You know the skills that you are learning, sometimes you must have, there are some people who are lucky, like you can just be like this, somebody's calling you, hey, there's a company, this place, they are looking somebody for installing the network. You can make 1 million in 1 day. Yeah, it's like a construction. Just be lucky. Somebody can call, hey, I have a building here, I want somebody to install the network for me. Okay, what we're gonna do now, so I don't want you first to bring the interfaces on. Let's try to ping and see how the reply will be. Right? So for every step, when we configure something, you have to ping to see how the network will react. It will allow you to learn more. So from these computers, I will try to ping this one. But we know already that it won't gonna work, but we wanna see how the ping, how the reply will come. .192.168.1.3. What happened? Why there is a reply? Why there is a reply? So, who can answer? Why there is a reply while this interface from the router is off? Why there is a reply? Because those computers, they are trying to communicate locally. When they are communicating locally, they don't need the default gateway. You understand that? That's why the ping works. Why? Because they are communicating locally. They don't need to go outside. They will need this default gateway when they want to communicate to the rest of the networks. You understand that? So you can even put wrong default gateway, they're gonna still like communicate because they are using the switch. So the request, they are what communication cannot jump the switch, right? Now we're gonna try to ping the default gateway, right? Why you are going now slowly by slowly? Because you wanna learn how networks react. We're gonna see how the response will come. Request timeout, right? Why? Because the interface from the router is off, right? Now what we're gonna do now, we're gonna bring it up and we're gonna try to ping again. Let's bring it up. So now when you are configuring something, don't start rushing. For every step, try to learn how your network will react, because it's opening your mind now. What does it mean by this? Would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? When you say yes, means the router will start assisting you. What is your router name? What is your IP address? You understand? Yeah. But we don't want that. We just say no. Which mode is this one? User mode, right? We go to privilege mode, right? From here, let's try to check the routing table. Let's verify the database. Let's ask the router, please, can you show us your routing table? Can you show us which networks did you learn about? Do show, right? Do space show IP routes. But remember the comment, it's show IP routes because we are using the wrong mode. What did you see? There is any network here? No. The routing table is empty, right? The routing table is empty. Now what we're gonna do, we have to bring that interface like up, and we're gonna assign it an IP address. Remember guys, for a network to be added to the routing table, the interface must be up and the IP must be given. For a network to be added to your routing table, that interface must be up, the IP must be given. Now we're gonna use it's 0/0, okay. Interface gigabit 0/0. My IP address, 192.168.1.1, my subnet mask. No shut down, all right? Now, you are done, right? Remember that the rule says that for a network to be added to the routing table, that interface must be up and the IP must be given. So logically, this connected network, this blue network, must be already on the routing table. Let's verify it. Do show IP routes. Did you see it? You can see now the blue network is there, right? The C is the directly connected, right? So it means that sometimes you cannot even check the topology, the physical topology, just by ear. By reading the routing table, you will know already like, no, there is one network. That network is 192.168.1.z. That is directly connected to my router, right? And how did I know about it? Yeah, because of which interface? You knew about it. That network is connected to your router. By using which interface? The gigabit 0/0. This L, root local. Root local means the IP address of that interface, that network, that is given to this interface, right? Now, we can save, do WR, right? Do write. Now what we're gonna do now, let's go to one of the PC again. Let's try to communicate to the default gateway. We're gonna ping again the default gateway now, right? You have to ping the default gateway. So for every lab that you are doing, don't rush for you to finish. No, for every step, you try to use the show commands, you try to ping, because it's opening your intelligence. Okay. Now we can see that my computers can talk to the default gateway. Now, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna try to ping that other network. We're gonna try to access the server, see if there is like any communications. So the IP address of the server was what? It's 3.2. Let's try to ping the server, right? Jonathan, ping the server. Yeah, it's not pinging, but you have like to be able to interpret. So who's responding? Which router? Your own router. Your default gateway is responding that I cannot reach the destination, right? Sometimes you cannot even see the physical topology. Just by ear, you don't know. This reply is coming from this router, from my own router. So my own router doesn't know how to reach other routers or other networks, right? But if maybe the problem like was here, so you're gonna see the reply will come from where? From here, from the second router. But in this case, the reply is coming from where? From the same router. Now what we're gonna do, let's go to the second router, right? We are going to assign it a default gateway. But before even going there, we can check the routing table, the database. Show IP routes. Remember, don't put do because I'm in privilege mode. When you are here, there is no putting do. Do means you are forcing the router. Show IP routes. You can see the output. The router doesn't know about any network, right? Why? Because the interfaces from the routers, they are down. There is no IPs. For your router to learn about a particular network, condition number one, the interface must be up and the IP must be given. Wrong mode, maybe. Interface 0/0. What? This is where you must use the do. Show it when you are in privilege mode. 168. 168. Yeah, .3.1. No shutdown, right? You see? Okay, now it's up. Let's check the routing table, please. Do show IP routes. For every configuration that you are doing, when you try to bring in like an interface app, you must check the behavior of your routing table. What's going to be saved there, because it allows you to master the concepts. Yes, you can see C means directly connected. So just by looking at your database, by looking at your routing table, you will know like, no, I'm connected to which network? 192.168.3.0, and I'm connected using which interface? It's this interface that I'm connected to this network. And what is the IP address of that interface? It's the root local, right? We can try to save again, do WR. Right? Now, we have to bring up the link between those two routers, right? Always remember that when you connect two routers, you have a network. Now we're gonna bring this interface up, and we're gonna bring this one also up. Which route I'm using? Okay, this one. Interface 0/1 IP address 192.168.2.1.0. All right. No shutdown. Right. You're gonna give it an IP address and you bring it up. Right. We're gonna go do WR, we save, and we're gonna go to the second router. We're gonna do the same, but remember that we are using the gigabit 0/2, but I don't know which one you use on your side. The IP address .2.2.0. No shutdown. Right? Because we are done. When you are done doing something, you can try to check your routing table. Let's see what is there. You can see that there is a first C, right? So your router knows about this 192.162.2.0 network via which interface? 0/2. Right? So because of this interface from my router, I can learn about the network that is directly connected like to me. Second one, so there are two networks that your router learned about. Right? Do right. Now we're gonna try again, like to ping. We can go to one of the PC here. We can try to talk again to the server, see how the response will be. But we know like already like there is no routing table. No, there is no, like routing protocol is configured. So logically it won't wanna work. Still, your router doesn't know. The interfaces are up, but your router still doesn't know how to reach other networks. because your router is not smart as you. You have to teach your router how to operate, how to learn about other networks. Now we are going to teach, like our first router, how to reach the server network, right? We have to tell, like the router, okay, for you to reach the yellow network, you are going to use the default route, right? Remember that, like default routes and static, the comments still the same, right? But first you exit IP routes. Now this time around, we don't precise the destination network, right? We just put 4 zeros. Those 4 zeros will tell you about what? Any network. So you are telling your router, you have to connect me to any network. To any network with any subnet. This is the meaning of this one. Connect me to any network that will have any subnet. Yeah. So if the database doesn't know how to reach the destination, so if there is no entry about that particular network, the router will use the default route. Remember that you must use the next hop. Next hop means a second router. Like I have 2 routers here, this one and myself. I'm a router, right? IP routes, any network, any subnet. But my next hop is which one? Is this router, because I'm connected to this one. So we call this one next hop IP, the IP address of that interface. So so which one? This one, 192.168.2.2, right? .2. But remember, you can also use the interface instead of the IP address. You can just put the interface gigabit 0/0. No, it's 0/2, huh? Yeah. So IP routes connect me to any network that will have like any subnet, but data must come in using my next hop IP. Okay. Now we are done, right? Let's check the routing table. Do show IP routes. When you are done, you have to check your routing table, your router's database. So what did you see here? You can see a new entry, yeah? So S asterisk, we call it what? Static routes, no default routes. When you go up from the code here, it must be shown somewhere here, but we're gonna check. Yeah, here, like default. So this is what? Your default routes, right? This one above, right? That number, we call it administrative distance, but we're gonna see it later on. Don't mind about it. Now, there is a static route, and my next hop IP is this one, right? We can save 4 zeros, 4 zeros, because yeah, like IP address, it's 4 parts, 4 zeros, subnet, it's 4 zeros. Up. Are you done? Now we're gonna go to the second router, right? We exit first. IP routes, any network that will have like any subnet. Now, what is my next hop? This is my next hop, right? What is the IP address of my next hop? 192.168.2.1. Enter, enter, right? Done. Now we're gonna check the routing table. Do show IP routes. Do show IP routes. So you can see here, there is a new, there's a default route that is there, right? Guys, remember the asterisk, it's a default route. There are questions they'll ask you, which code for default routes, which code for static routes? We can save, guys, do right. Now, because we are done, we're gonna try again to talk to the server. From the beginning, it takes time because they are code. They have to communicate, they are not, right? When you do for the second time, it's gonna respond fast. You can see that those two branches can talk, right? This is how you have to configure the default route. If there is another network, you're gonna just say what? IP routes, right? But remember, from the next hop, you have to consider the router that is connected to that router. Yes, even if you have like 100 routers, next hop is the IP address of the router that is connected to the one you wanna configure. Are we done or not? We are not done. Remember, we said again, we have to give users access to the safe. Yeah, in order for users to access the website, right? And remember, the benefits of keeping your own website like locally, like your company will host, will keep the website. You're gonna see that the response will be fast. Users, they can access the website fast. Your web developers, they can do the updates and the update will be reflected fast. Even if there is no internet, because it's your local networks, users, they will still access the website. Normally companies, they got like other companies that are hosting their website, right? Normally when you develop a website, you must look for hosters. Those companies who are going to keep your website normally. But if somebody else is keeping your website, suppose like you wanna change something, you have to contact those people. So there is a delay. Sometimes there is no internet, means users, they cannot access the website, right? So most of the time, it's good when you are keeping your own website in your company, right? Now, how to give users like access to your website? So you're gonna have like one computer, like here, and your code, the one that they developed, that website. So you're gonna keep it on one of the computer, like in this case, right? Now what we're gonna do, first, you go to your server, right? You go to services. When we are talking about website, we are talking about DNS, domain name system, right? When you have like a problem linked to websites, you must check for one of the service that we call DNS, domain name system. So you're gonna go to DNS from your server, right? Your DNS must be on, right? Your DNS must be on. Yeah, put your DNS on. Is it on? What is the name of your website? It's www.saba.com, right? What is the IP address? Right? The IP address that will match to the website. What is the IP address of the server? Calvin? Is the one, huh? So what does it mean by here? By here, it means this. When you go to DNS, first you activate it. But what we are doing here, it means this. This IP, so this is the IP address of your server, of your computer, the computer that is keeping the code of the website, right? Now you are saying, when somebody will type this www.saba.com, so it has to provide the website. So you are matching this domain name to this IP, right? So this part means you have to create a domain name for the company. Suppose like you are working for ADPower, you're gonna say the adpower.com. But adpower.com must match to the IP address of the server, right? So for you to do that matching, you must use the DNS, right? Now, when you are done, you can add and you click there, you save it, right? Now, we are done from the server side, right? Now we're gonna go to computers. You go to IP. Your computers must know how to reach the server. So you need a DNS. We're gonna repeat again the default gateway. That's gonna be like our DNS again. Hmm? Which one? Yeah, let's try first. We're gonna learn something new. We're gonna see. Yeah. Sometimes we can repeat like the default gateway, it's gonna still work, or maybe, but let's see. We are not rushing, we are learning. When you are trying, so when it's gonna fail, next time you will know when somebody say, no, no, I know wait, it's not gonna work. Okay, what you're gonna do now, you go to any browser from your computer. Now you're gonna try to open. Okay, first, we're gonna try to access the website using the IP first. It's what? .3. What did you say? We can access the website, huh? My website is coming. using the IP address. Because normally, all the websites that you are using, Gmail, like Google, they are IP addresses. The way we have to access them is by typing an IP. But because an IP is a number, users, they can forget those numbers. That's why they change it to domain name. They say maybe gmail.com, google.com. But in reality, they are IP, the addresses. Okay, we can access it via the IP. Now let's try to access it using the domain name. It was this one, huh? First, I must have to restart. Yeah. I'm gonna try my domain name. For you using the domain name, it says what? Sometimes maybe you can remove those www, you just keep what? Yeah, saba.com. Right? Let me try to remove. I'm gonna just keep. I'm gonna try using my domain name. It's gonna still work. It can work now. Which one, Matome, did you use? Let me take this one out. I'm trying that one if it's gonna.
Change the name in the,
Hmm?
you change the name of the domain name in the DNS.
Yeah, I just changed. I'm trying saba.com. It's unresolved, but with the IP, if the IP works, so I can access it using the IP, but not using the DNS. I'm gonna try to check. Which one? Yeah, normally. Yeah, sometimes the DNS is always like a problem. Huh? But you use the default gateway from the computers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if the IP works, let me try with the domain name. Yes.
I think we should add another record from the DNS.
Guys, how many works there? Jonathan, for it working? You can delete it and you delete it And you repeat again?